And we have a treat for you today. We've got the Professor, Billy Blythe, a former factory Montessa trials rider at the national level, also a 5-time Isle of Man veteran who's demonstrating this Montessa 348 for you. This bike is an absolutely pristine 348. This bike has been fully restored from the frame off. That means the engine came out, the frame was sandblasted and painted the original color. The tank was repainted. It is a very low hour original survivor. This bike would be perfect for AHMRA national trials competition, and with a good rider like Billy, it would probably compete pretty well with the new bikes. It is original right down to all the componentry. The front tire is even the original tire. That was kept on to show how few hours. I mean, usually when you do a frame-up restoration, a tire is a $50 item. Why would they keep the original tire on it? Well, to show the originality of it. The bike was owned by our good friend Bud, who we just bought a KZ900 from. We bought a whole bunch of bikes from him, hill climbing bikes, and this Montessa was the last of his collection to go. The bike, he had it up at All Sport Cycles the first time I saw it. Was up at Jeff's shop. I was like, wow, that thing's beautiful. He says, well, Bud owns it, and I think he's getting ready to sell it. So I said, when he's ready to sell it, have him give us a call, man. I'd love to bring this thing in and play with it for a while. It's been here for about a month, and we've gone right through it. There wasn't much that we needed to do to it because Jeff at All Sport Cycles had previously gone through it. And I called Jeff this morning. I said, what did it need? He goes, nothing. I just cleaned the carb. So when we bought it in, we took it to the next level. It was already restored. I've got the original owner's manual here. It spent 9 hours in the detail shop. It was steam cleaned. The cylinder and head was repainted. We did a light chassis touch-up on it. The tank was waxed. All the chrome was polished. The seat was reconditioned. The forks were polished. The controls were polished. The kicker was polished. Gave it a full, what we call a rotisserie detail. Kenny, zoom in on a couple of the components like this, and the forks, and also the kicker. The kicker's chrome. The paint job. Just a beautiful piece. We did a compression test on the bike, and went through, did a nut and bolt check on it. 160 psi compression, which is perfect for the 348. Went through, did a nut and bolt, torqued down the motor mount bolts and every bolt on the bike. The kicker spring was broken, so we ordered a new kicker spring, the kicker return spring. That hasn't been installed yet. That'll be installed before the bike shifts. Lubed everything on it, all the cables and all the pivoting points were lubricated. Put a brand new B7ES spark plug in it. New gear oil, new gear and clutch oil. Put new vent tubes on the carburetor. Put a brand new air filter in it, and lubed the compression release. That's a compression release because it has high compression and it's a big bore 2-stroke. To make it easier to start, it has a compression release so you can bump start it or kick start it very easily. Set the tire pressure at 13 in front, 15 at the rear. Tested it, tuned it, and adjusted the carburetor. So the service department, Billy himself, put 7 hours into the bike. So we just thoroughly went through it. It's completely ready to roll up to the line at the AHMRA National and or to roll into your museum. The service ticket was 16 hours labor. We charged $90 an hour, so plus parts. So it came out to $1,528 plus tax. So it's $1,620 work order on a bike that just to polish, prime, and tune, and test, and the thing to perfection. It's ready to go. I do have the original owner's manual here. Check this out. This is the original Montessa owner's manual. Comes with the bike. Billy's going to give you some history of the motorcycle. There were 2 number plate options that we had available. This is one of the number plates. Supposedly that's what they normally came with back then. I kind of hated the look of it, so we put the round one on there. But if you want this peculiar looking front number plate on there, we can put that on there along with the Montessa sticker. That'll be up to the new owner. If you have any questions, give us a call, 860-454-7024. I think you can tell by the demonstration it looks and runs like a brand new bike. The only defect I found on it is under the American flag sticker. There's a blemish in the original fiberglass on the tank. Bud had a uni sticker on there. We took that off and noticed there is a slight blemish there. So we had repaired that, or not repaired that. We put a sticker on it, basically. But if you wanted to make the gas tank perfect, that area would have to be repaired and touch up painted. So let me try it out, Billy.
All right,
We'll let the real expert, the guru, we've nicknamed him the professor for many reasons, but he's a former national trials competitor, Montessa sponsored rider, factory rider, and also 5-time Isle of Man veteran, local hero. So he's the only person around here who's even been to the Isle of Man, and he raced it 5 times. He even got married over there, but that's a whole other story. Billy, professor here, tell him what you know about this.
All right, Ken. Well, this is the coolest bike I've seen in a long time. Trials bikes are underappreciated, in my opinion, in this country, but this bike here is bristling. I mean, it's got technology from the day way beyond its competitors. Bultaco, Montessa, and Ossa were the 3 big ones back in the day. And this is a Malcolm Rathmell replica. It's a 348cc hot rod trials bike. People out west love them because they could climb better than anything else. We love them here because they handled beautifully. I had my best finish ever in a trials on a Montessa Cota 348. I was sponsored by Cosmopolitan Motors in Pennsylvania. They were the importer from Montessa on the East Coast, and they actually sent me around to some of the nationals with it. But here in New England, I actually got a high point overall. There are probably about 200 riders at the event. It was, yeah, on a bike just like this, 1976 or 7 Cota 348 Malcolm Rathmell replica. And on the world stage, this bike had plenty of credentials. World Championship rider Malcolm Rathmell helped Montessa design this bike, and a rider named Ulf Carlson also was world champion on a Montessa Cota 348 back in the 70s. And they Montessa continues today. They're the only one of the Spanish big 3 that continue to make motorcycles today. Honda has bought into the Montessa name, and they still produce world championship trials bikes. So this is not the beginning for them. Montessa made trials bikes in the 60s, and world-class ones at that as well. So there goes Ken gets a 5. That's a failure. Now, and when you put both your feet down in a section on a trials bike, it's called paddling. All right. Put them on the back, Ken. Montessa, right. No room.
Can you tell Senior's not really a trials guy, Billy?
No, actually, he's got good form in a trials bike. Got the perfect size and shape for it. Yeah, and all those muscles don't hurt either, you know. It doesn't look like much. Riding trials doesn't really look like a lot, but it takes a lot of skill, balance, strength. That's also a 5 right there. Yeah, I caught you. Yeah.
I'll do whatever I have to win.
That's right. Well, you can do it on that bike for sure. That's not one of a kind, but I haven't seen one that nice since they were new. It's just runs perfectly. The bike's loaded with flywheels, very heavy flywheels on that bike. But if you open it up on a big hill, it will go. It'll get you over the top. Perfect bike for vintage trials. Drum brakes, air-cooled. It's probably the pinnacle of drum brake air-cooled trials bikes. Not long after this bike was made, they started going to water cooling and disc brakes, and it changed the world of trials, and single shock as well. So this bike is, I think, top of the line for twin shock air-cooled trials bikes. Yep.
Can we hit the compression lever and show them what that does?
Yeah, just rev it up a little first so we don't stall it.
That's the compression lever.
Yeah, the compression release. It's like the compression release. It's like a Jake brake for a trials bike.
Moses likes it.
He likes it. It passes. Yeah, that's. Back in these days, when you went in the water with these bikes, the brakes would get wet and they wouldn't work at all. So a compression release doubles not only as a kill button, it'll stop the engine, but it'll slow the bike down. It acts as brakes. When the brakes are wet, you can use that for brakes. Yeah, go ahead. It'll slow you right down.
forks
Yeah,
compressed.
yeah.
It is braking.
Yeah,
actually.
it does brake. Definitely works as brakes. So when you drive by a puddle on an old trials bike, or back in the day, you might get wet brakes, and that saved my life more than once. There you go.
That's how you kill it too, right?
Yeah, that's how you kill it. That's for sure. What's the mileage here, Ken?
229 miles.
229. Yep. I wouldn't doubt that. Looking at the frame on this bike, everything's straight, the exhaust. You know, when I rode trials on these bikes, the forks would get all mangled here from riding by rocks. And, you know, the skid plate would get dented in, the frame rails would get dented, even the pipe. You know, you get into situations where the pipe would get hit. But this bike doesn't show any signs of ever being used as a competitor's bike. Just maybe as a ride around the field bike.
Still even has a kickstand on it, which is the first thing to go for a racer, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Lean it on a tree. Yep. When you go to a trials, you go to a section and you stop the bike, you park it, and then you go walk the section, and you go pick your line as you walk through the section. You pick your line, you memorize it, and you go back to your bike and you think about the section again, and then you go ride up through the section from memory. It's basically a place you've never ridden before, no one's ever ridden, and you go up through it, and you have to park it. So a side stand is pretty necessary for a trials bike unless you got a lot of trees to lean bikes on. So
the bars appear to be new, as do the grips in the rear tire. I'm not sure if these are original, but they look to be, they are OEM at the very, either original or NOS. They're in perfect condition. There's no damage. It doesn't look like it's ever been dropped or crashed, you know. Just a fantastic piece. Like I said, the original front tire on it. So by every indication, this is an original 220-mile bike. It runs and
the fenders are original and whatnot. Yeah.
the original fenders.
Original fenders, etc. Yeah. There are a few pieces that have been upgraded, like the shift lever, the handlebars, but it's definitely represents.
This is kind of a, I've never seen that before.
The molded in mud flapping, and that's the original front fender.
Those will get trashed quick and like a.
Going over rocks, they want to break off, but.
Thank you, Billy. Just a beautiful piece. And I'm going to shut the gas off so we don't flood it. But if you have any questions about this classic Montessa, give us a call. Junior and Cody can get you a shipping quote anywhere in the country, probably $500 or less. We can ship it to the UK for about $750 overseas. So stunning classic red, big bore two-stroke that is going to go up in value. Certainly you buy a brand new trials bike, as soon as you pull it off the floor, $10,000 bike's going to be worth $7,000, and in 2 years it's worth $5,000, and in 3 it's worth $2,500 in 5 years. So this one is the opposite end of the spectrum. It's a classic. It's 47 years old, almost 50 years old, and it's a mint original survivor, and it's going up, and not 100% original, but what I mean by original, it's all there and it has low miles on it. Obviously it's been restored, but it's just a really cool piece. So thanks for watching. We got a hurricane coming our way here. It's August 4th. The bike will be up on eBay. Look in the in the description section. There'll be a link on the YouTube video. If it's still for sale, it'll be on our eBay page. So please, if you have any questions, call us 860-454-7024. Thanks for watching, and God bless America.